Hey, Eljasan,
Hi, India.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I am good. I am so
Yeah.
happy to have you on today. So, I'm just gonna do a little checkup to just see who's watching right now
Okay.
to know if we should start or if we need to give it a little time. So, give me one sec. You'd think by now I would have a hang of this, right?
Mhm.
But
Practice make
not
perfect.
not so much. I'll get there, eventually.
Yes.
Eventually. Um, okay, so let's see. Okay, so let me just double check here. Okay, so Eljasan, as we wait for some more people to hop in to
Yes.
the live, I'm just gonna message um into the I am Zion Bound chat to let some people know that we have begun.
Mhm. Yes.
So, a side note, I guess as we wait for some people to join in, I saw your registration for the event for the
Yeah.
healers event coming up on August 30th. I was so excited. I
Yeah. So
was
it
so
was actually a
excited.
surprise, but yeah, it couldn't be a surprise. So
That's so wonderful. So we got to talk and you got to tell me the details, how long you'll be staying for. I think so many
mhm.
people are going to be excited to meet you in person. Um,
Me
you
too.
know, so many people, obviously myself, but
Thank you.
so many others, the rest of the fam. Okay,
A big
so who's watching right now? If you're watching, just leave a little message in the chat, say hi so we could acknowledge you, send you some love.
much love,
Yeah.
everybody, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, but it's been super super busy. August is like one of the busiest months for me and it's just been so busy preparing for the Lionsgate portal event that we have here on the 8th, and then right after that, literally the next day is when the um silent retreat begins. And that's going to be for a few days, right? So it's just been a lot of preparation and even preparing for the retreat that you're going to be attending.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's been busy. It's been busy over here, but very exciting, very exciting.
it's super cool. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
My
Okay,
voice.
so say that again.
My voice was very not dusty, but
Oh, you're
uh, speechless.
raspy.
Yeah,
Oh,
raspy.
oh, yeah, 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 yeah. No worries. Okay. So I see a few people in here. The chat is very delayed. Okay, I see Marianne is in here. Patricia is in here. Greetings, greetings, everyone.
Much love.
Yes, much love. Um, and let's see. Okay. So you know what? Let's begin. It's already 7:39. So as you know, obviously, as you know, this is all about sharing your love story,
Mhm.
sharing how you how you came out of, one or many of the darkest times of your life. And it's all really about how love has rescued us out of those dark times. Love manifests in so many different ways, right? Love can manifest through the help of a stranger. Love can manifest through the embrace of a loved one, the smile, the intimacy, the attention given. So many ways, right? We receive love. And all of those things that I mentioned and so many more ways can literally pick us up and raise our vibration, when we're experiencing a dark time. And so I always tell people, don't think of, have like your story having to be some grand, extravagant, supernatural experience, because that's really not what love is about. Love is about that and all of your regular day-to-day encounters, So I want everyone out there. I see Taslim is on now. Hello, everybody. Greetings, family. Sending
Greetings.
you a lot
Invite.
of love. Yes.
Thank you.
So I want us to kind of just jump right into it because I really want to know your story and for you to share your story with everybody out there who will watch. First of all, tell us where you're coming from right now today.
Um, Still on my
Because
path.
we're gonna
Uh, yeah.
because what I'm saying is like people will hear a little bit of an accent.
I like that. Okay, okay. I'm from Belgium. I'm from Belgium. Yes,
From Belgium.
from
Yes.
Belgium.
Yes, wonderful. So so all the way from Belgium, and I'm out here in Ontario, a little bit out of Toronto. Um, and we're here, and we've known each other for how many years now? I think
2 years?
I think it must be like 3 years.
Okay, sorry.
Two,
3 years.
two or three, 2 or 3 years. I can't remember.
Yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, we've known each other for a while, and you've always been over on that side of the world. I remember when we first met, uh there was such a big issue with language, and then you and then now it's like there's nothing, there's anything that you wanna be able to communicate, you can. And I was wondering if that, because when you first reached out to me about sharing your love story, you mentioned that you were a little bit a little bit nervous about it. You're wondering, if you would be okay to share it. Did any of that have to do with your with like the language, or what exactly made you feel a little bit hesitant?
Um, Actually, that's also a part of the story that I want to tell. That
Okay.
no, I was actually having a conversation with my girlfriend, and she told me, "Why are you always saying this sentence before you start talking?" And first, I didn't know why I said it, and then I was thinking about the period where I first started to say that, and there was a period that I was actually one of the um, parts of the story that I want to tell you that 3 times I was actually suicidal, and the the second uh, part was that I locked myself up for almost 2 years,
Mm.
and I was only watching anime and not well, only cartoons and anime, and after that it was difficult to speak with people,
Oh,
and
wow.
the way to talk to people, the I had to say the certain sentence to start talking, or else I couldn't speak.
What's a
Or people,
sentence? What's the sentence?
so in Dutch was, wilt jij iets grappig weten? That's the thing that I always said. But the funny thing is, I said I will translate it is, do you want to know something funny? But sometimes it was funny, but
It
sometimes
wasn't
it wasn't
funny.
funny. Yes,
Oh my gosh. Sometimes it absolutely was not funny, but you would still say it. Do you want to know
yes, yes. And
Oh my gosh.
actually, after that, because I was actually fluent in language, but after that, I was so in my head with languages and stuff that um, I became afraid to speak, but I was thinking too much about all the sentences and words I was using, and yeah. And sometimes if I get stressy, you will hear it that
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
that I hesitate a lot or that the words won't come as fluent.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, we are super patient and you can take your time telling us your story. There's no rush. We're here to
Mhm.
listen and we're here to support you, wherever you are in this journey of love and of coming out of that darkness. So without any further delay, you already kind of hinted at some things in what you were saying. So tell us about that darkness. Tell us about that dark time that that you want to talk about today and how love rescued you out of it.
Um, so the I will just jump into the story that I was explaining earlier. We'll explain that story first.
Mm-hmm,
Um, nee, so nee, before that happened, I was modeling, and after it was a weird period because after my model career, they told me you're too old, and it was the people were acting so weird. It was the energy was also so weird. So I was actually happy but sad that I left that world.
mm-hmm,
And in it, but in the same time, I was also having I did business with a friend. We started a company,
mm-hmm.
and in that period, also he fired me out of the company that we started together,
Wow.
and
Mm-hmm,
um, we were a close group of I think eight good friends. And after that happened, nobody
mm-hmm.
wanted to hang out anymore, and they were blaming me for destroying the group. And
Wow.
yeah, and actually after that, it felt like everything in my world or in my life was falling apart. Everybody was hating me, and um, yeah, it was so weird.
Mm,
Um, yeah, so I locked myself up for almost 2 years, and in those 2 years, my grandmother and my sister and my mother were the ones who were always helping me and showing me the light, actually, and stuff like that. And
mm-hmm,
that's why I'm always grateful for those three women in my life. And
mm.
funny thing is, after that, well, after those 2 years almost, people from the neighborhood started to not ask where I was and stuff like that. So they also helped me to go out from my house and live more under the people and stuff like that. It was yeah, and yeah, yeah, it was a low point or a dark period of my life, but the the love actually God God was speaking through those people, because one of those people who was actually helping me was actually not a very good person, but God works in mysterious ways. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, and yeah, it was also crazy because after everything fell apart, I we went to Cape Verde for the first time, to the country where we came from, and after that, everything was falling apart. It was so weird. And also, the first dream that I had when I came back from Cape Verde was so demonic and weird. It was so weird.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was thinking, is it from Belgium, this energy, or did people in Cape Verde put some energy on me?
Mm.
Yeah. And also the
Did you
crazy
come to any
thing,
conclusion about that? Like, did you ever figure that out? Like what that
yeah, what I
darkness
think
was
is
about?
that that the energy was from here and not specifically from there. Because I linked it there, but I think the energy was here. Because um, another example from that my girlfriend gave was when I went to Holland. She said that my attitude was more joyful, and when I came to Belgium, my energy changed.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Mhm. Mhm.
um, yeah, yeah, Belgium is a weird place. um,
Has it always been like that for you? Or do you do you think like ever since you were in Belgium that you started feeling, and this is nothing on Belgium, but just talking part of your story, do you feel like ever since you moved there that or like, you felt a darkness there or you felt something heavy on you, or do you think that it started after that incident with your friends?
no, that's good that you said that. No, no, it's the energy from Belgium itself, really. Because imagine we traveled a lot as a kid, but as a grown up, I didn't travel a lot. I was more here in Belgium, and I never traveled, but not super far. So when I went to Africa and came back, I went there for a month. So I came back, the energy was totally different here. Really, like
Wow.
I didn't recognize that. And also when I set foot in Cape Verde, the energy was also totally different. Like I told people, the feeling that I had in Cape Verde for a month was like feeling a king, and nobody said nothing special to me, just by
Wow.
just being there. Yeah,
Wow. Wow. And how
yeah.
would you contrast that with going to Belgium? Then what feeling were you getting there in contrast?
Depletion of energy and no, yeah, well, depletion of energy. But yeah, it's so weird. Like for example, the second day when I was walking just in Cape Verde, some words in Creole I didn't know, so I just said it in English, and so I was
Yeah.
talking with English. I was talking English a lot with the people there, and they said, "Well, yeah, we really like your voice. You should work on the radio." That was just the first person I talked to. That was the. It's so weird. Even if they want to, yeah, it's so weird. It's totally different than than Belgium. It's the
Hmm.
angels. Yeah,
Hmm.
I cannot compare it.
So move us along to coming back, feeling that energy, and then what? So at this point now you've broken up from your friends, you've had 2 years isolating yourself, just pretty much
Mhm,
watching cartoons and anime,
mhm,
right? So what
mhm.
happens after that?
Well, after that, um, one of my neighbors was always knocking on the door and asking where I was at and asking if I would come outside and stuff like that. And my mother was always dragging me to stuff to go with her. And the crazy thing was, in that time, she said, "Yeah, um, I have a feeling that God will give you a good job near house, so you don't have to have all the stress of going there and blah blah blah." And
Yeah.
like literally a week after my mother said that, I worked at the laboratory. I was working at the laboratory. That's where I worked for 5 years,
Okay.
and then some stuff happened again. Oh yeah, after I was following just the words of my mother, everything was going better. It was yeah. Yeah, and at that time I just said I will only follow the words of my grandmother, my sister, or my mother. If they say something, I would do it. And yeah,
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So you found that they were leading you in the right direction. Wisdom.
yes, my sister is maybe 6 years younger than me, but she's so wise. She lived
Yeah.
in Miami for a long time, and then she came back just before the corona, and then she stayed here with us. So
Okay. Nice.
yeah,
So how old were
Yeah.
you when this was happening?
Um, I think 26, so almost 9 or 10 years ago.
Okay, okay. So after this time, you're working in the lab. Is that it? Is that the end of the darkness, or did something else happen? Because you said then something happened. You kind of
Yeah, then
alluded
yeah,
to
yeah.
something
Then
else.
then something else happened also. That's the last time actually um that I was thinking those thoughts. And also I was working at the laboratory, and
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning I had my job was something, well, it wasn't a good job, but then out of a miracle, they put me in another part where they said, yeah, we saw on your CV that you studied pharmacy, so maybe you can work better here. And I was working there, and after a while, they were saying that the medicine that I was making was so good that, for example, you made a batch, and if you send your batch and the client wasn't
Yeah.
happy with it, they will send it back. But all the delay
Wow.
and traffic, so
Yes.
it was too much money. So they said your batches are super good, and then they told me, we will make you the head of this department, so you can lead everybody how you are
To
making it.
make. Yes.
And then maybe after 3 years working there, they forgot everything that they said, and they were
Mm.
hiring new people that I had to
Train?
trained to be my boss and stuff like that. This one, I really,
Wow.
yes. And then I was thinking, fun, I had to ask them to put it on paper because now it's my word against their word. Because now they're saying, when did it happen? When, I don't, well, so working there became a drag. It was really not fun anymore. So then I was also thinking because they showed how long you have to work till your pension, and that made me super depressed. Also, I said, but yeah, and they told me, yeah, your wager will go up normal, but you will
Mm-hmm.
have the same function because we want you to keep making the same products. So I will never go up in yeah.
Yes, so because you were so good at what you're doing, they basically had you train people and then those people moved up, but you just kept being there just training people to do what it is that you were doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens. I've heard that happening to a lot of people, in whatever field that they're in, they don't get promoted, but they're kept to keep almost like a quality, like a standard in what they're doing. So they're used that way, but because if they had to move from whatever position they're in to something higher, then who would keep the standard, right? Then the product would diminish, and they don't want that. So they did increase your pay, but they kept you in the same position.
They, yeah, they kept, well, I kept the same position, but my pay went up.
Okay. So now what? So okay, so lead us from there. So you said you started getting those thoughts again. When you say what are those thoughts that you started getting again?
I was just thinking about time and repeating, standing, well, how would you say, the daily routine. I was
Yep.
picturing that, and it's like, is that everything in life? Is that just it? Working till I'm pension and I have to do this? Oh, yeah. I said, wow. And then actually I started doing drugs, but hard drugs like cocaine and stuff. Um,
Mm.
because I didn't want to kill myself anymore, but I didn't want to live as long. That's why I was doing drugs
Wow.
yeah,
So what
to
what caused you to not want to kill yourself anymore?
I in the second time I was thinking about it, and I thought to myself, it's too permanent, and that kept me from,
Well, sorry.
you know,
I don't mean to
I know,
laugh.
because I told myself maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. I said that to myself, and said
Oh my
maybe a
God.
feeling, yeah,
I didn't
literally
mean to
that
laugh.
it was, yeah, I know,
That was just, you're so hilarious. You just said, it's true, right? You thought about it, you're like, this is a permanent decision.
Mhm.
Maybe let me see how I feel tomorrow.
Mhm.
I love it. I love that. Hey, I'm glad that thought came into your head, because I enjoy your presence in this
Thank
world.
you. Thank you.
So, okay, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? So you said, no, no, this is a permanent decision. And
Hmm.
so then you decided to do drugs. So is that all that you wanted to do? And again, I want to say, remember, you only share with us what you feel comfortable sharing. I could ask you a question. If it's
Hmm.
too personal, you just be like, next, don't feel any ways. All of us
Hmm.
understand. So, you could share as much or as little as you want. Um, so that being said, when you talked about doing drugs, you said drugs, plural. So is there something else that you did that you want to share, or you want to just leave it there?
Yes, I did. Yeah, ecstasy, MDMH, if you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did lean. What the rappers do, the cool rappers. No, no.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
um, yeah, and then but the thing that I did most was coke. And sometimes when they try to rip you off, they put speed inside of coke, so you
Oh,
felt. Yeah, it was so. Yeah, or they put um sometimes they just take glass and how to say, yeah, they put everything inside of it just
to bulk it up.
to bulk it up. Yeah.
So
So
how did you feel when you were doing those drugs? I guess I would say, what were the thoughts that were leading up to you doing that, right? Because you said you didn't want to die, but you also didn't want to be here. And you didn't want to be here for very long. So doing the drugs was something that kind of did it help you to detach from the reality? Like, what was the
yeah,
benefit? Yeah, what was the
after
benefit for you of doing that?
after a while, yes, but my idea was actually just poisoning myself. That I
Mm,
became so unhealthy that something could happen. And this is so crazy because God works in mysterious ways. It's so weird that after I was doing so much coke, I felt like my nose was rotting away, and
mm,
that made me so paranoia that I said I'm gonna quit. Just by thinking that, I said I'm gonna quit. And
mm.
but it's so crazy because with the corona, when they asked to put it in your nose, I said no, and they said why. So I don't know how much damage I did with coke, so I don't want this in my nose. So that kept
Yeah.
me from doing that also. So oh yeah, so weird.
Yeah.
So God
Mm,
works in really mysterious ways. It's so weird. Yeah. So I thought my nose was going to rot away, so I quit. I just said it. I quit, and then I quit. But I did so much. If I think about how much I spent on coke, and I if I look on in the group where I was in,
yeah.
everybody's still doing it till this day. So
Wow. Till
yeah.
this
So I'm
day.
thinking, yeah, till this
And you're
day.
you're the only one who's come out of that group of guys. Everybody's pretty much still together doing that.
No, they're now they hate each other.
Oh, but
They're
they're
all
still doing
separate,
that.
but they're
Yeah.
still doing it. Yeah. But then if you see one of them, they will say, "Oh, the other guy is doing worse, even worse." Right?
Oh,
Yeah. It's yeah.
I get it. I understand. I understand. Okay, so thank goodness you cared enough about your nose, right? If that's what it took. So you said, listen, I can't have my nose rot away. I don't want to have that happening. So I stopped. It's so easy for some people to quit habits, you know, whether it's drugs or just whatever it is that we're doing. Some people it's very easy. They could say no and that's it, and other people have to kind of wean themselves off. You're very fortunate to be one of the people who could just say that's enough and stop. So that in itself is like a very big blessing. Okay, so now you care about your nose, you love yourself enough to love your nose. This man was saved by love for his nose. Okay. You don't have to love your whole self, just your nose, bro.
This is connected to the rest. This connected
It's
to the
con of
rest.
course. I love it. I love it.
Oh, so
So
funny.
I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
now you decided to stop. Did you continue with other drugs and only stop that, or what happened?
No, after that, actually, it's actually a French word. We say j'ai un dégoût, and it means fun. It means that everything chemical started to irritate me, and people who talked
Oh,
about it, it was like, when you don't know what you're doing, or you're hyping it up, but you never really did it. Yeah, I
yes.
will like people. I knew people were rapping about coke, but never did it. Just like,
Yeah. 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 So they're talking about it, but they've never actually had the experience of being addicted or doing something so frequently. So it's just nonsense what they're
yeah.
saying, right?
Hmm.
Their struggle is not real,
Hmm.
you know? Yeah, their struggle is not real. So okay, so after you stopped with the cocaine, it was easier. It was easy for you to stop the other things also?
Yeah, actually, yes. I just when I stopped with cocaine, I stopped with everything, and I said the
Oh,
only thing I
wonderful.
wanted to do was the plant stuff. That's the only thing I wanted
Okay.
to do, because I said homeopathic way in everything. Because the funny thing is, I never took medicine against headaches or stuff like that, and then I was doing coke because I was already against medicine, and
Yeah.
it was so weird. So,
Yes. Yeah.
and then I was also working in the laboratory, so that was super weird also. Um, yeah, then I said homeopathic way, and I was like, not pushing it on people, but teaching people that it was that
A
the,
better
that there
better way.
that there are better ways,
Mhm.
alternative ways and stuff like that. And then I became fascinated with truffles and puddles.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and then I did some truffles and puddles,
Hmm.
and also still um still when I quit with everything, I was still searching for myself. I didn't find myself, and after, I think it was near the um, near I stopped with the coke. Literally, when my head became more clear, I had the conversation with the Most High,
Mm.
um, where he asked me. Well, yeah, and then I started. Then I said, I want to live forever, and I want to be healthy with everything, and so only pro life and only plants for me. Um, I had a conversation, and he told me, "Do you remember your dream that you had as a child?"
And you're
And
saying this is most high.
this
This is
most
most
high,
high. Hmm.
and I said no, and he said, "You wanted to save the world. You remember?" And I said yes. So then everything came clear to me, in my head, and I said, yes, I wanted this. If this was in the world, this will be a better place. And then I don't know. I forgot the conversation, but actually, what he said, that um, there's a, where do you want to start? And as
Mm.
I was thinking about the world, and then said, so you need to think smaller. And then I said, okay, let me start with Africa. And then he said, think smaller. Then I said, let me start with Cap Virgin Islands, because we are 10 different islands, but we argue a lot among us. And I said, let me start with the 10 islands. And then he said, think smaller. Then I said, let me start with my own island. Well, the island where my
Yeah.
parents came from. Then he said, think smaller. Then I said, okay, let me start with my
Mm.
family. And he said, think smaller. And I said, what? And so start with yourself. And he's like, okay,
Wow. I
yeah,
love that. Truth, truth. Absolutely.
yeah.
I put not that you need my stamp, but I'm saying that I put a yes, that is most high.
Hmm.
That is exactly what that is always the way that spirit points us to. anyone who truly, and it doesn't mean that eventually you won't go out there and help more than yourself, but always the focus of spirit is for us to help ourselves first, for us to heal, first before we go out there trying to save, the world. So I just love that. You said you went from, okay, I'm done. I want to live, right? When did that, when, okay, you went from stopping, you no longer wanted to do the drugs, and then all of a sudden this thought came into your head, like, I want to live and only interact with plant medicine. Like, what caused that? Like, what was, I want to kind of know, like, where were you at? Like, what caused that to come into your mind? Because you went from loving your nose so much, right? And then that's wonderful. You went from that to all of a sudden, I want to live. I want to live for as long as possible. I think that's something very special happened there
And
within yourself.
I remember. I
Okay,
did,
okay.
Nene, I did truffles for the first time. But after the truffle experience, I felt, I didn't felt different, but I felt, I don't know, yeah, I want to say better, but not better. Maybe I was more myself again.
A little more
So
clarity.
weird. Yeah, more clarity, stuff like that. And then everything started to happen. And I'm
Yeah.
still in the process. I'm still in that process. I'm loving it. Uh, Trying to be better every day. But
Yes. It's a
uh,
journey.
it,
It's a journey.
it's a journey. But it started. It started there, and I will
Yeah.
never forget it.
That day when you had that conversation with Most High, I want to ask you something because some people may say, well, how do you know that that was Most High and not Truffles talking to you or not whatever? How were you able to identify Most High? Like from at what point, like from a young boy, you had an idea of what Most High is or was or sounded like? Like when did that idea and knowing come into you?
Because yeah, I remember this that I was looking out of the window. I was just looking to the stars, and then something spoke to me. It
Hmm.
just happened like that.
How old were you when that happened?
Um, I'm- I think 27, 28.
Okay. And is that around the same time you had that conversation, or was the conversation after?
After what?
After you had that time of looking at the stars, looking out into the night sky and having
No,
something. Hmm.
it came while I was looking, I was having the conversation actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's when it happened.
Hmm.
What did you think when you heard this voice talking to you?
Happy.
Happy.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe because yeah, I thought at first I thought I was so far away from my path that God wouldn't love me anymore.
Hmm.
And okay, that's also crazy. That's also what I said to my girlfriend. Said the only fear that I have is not having the love of God. For the rest, I don't have fear of nothing.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
uh, just that made me so happy because as a child, I always heard him. Well, heard it. I will not say him because it's then too
Yeah.
manly. Yeah, and also
So from a child, you had experiences where you felt like you were communing with God.
always connected.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
As a child.
I felt that I lost that. And when I had that conversation, I felt, yeah, also, I think I wrote it in a diary that I said, I feel the energy as I was a child again, that energy. And I know who I am. And Yeah, it was so weird.
When did you lose that? When did you feel, not that you
I
actually did lose it, but what made you think that you lost that connection to God?
I wrote it down also. I think it was because of the interaction with my brother. Um, Sometimes my brother would say something to me or hurt me, and I would never think about it to do it to him. And then I would say, why would he do that? And I was thinking,
Hmm.
it never came to me to do something to him. Why would he do that?
Hmm.
And now that I was thinking about it, it was the time that he went for I think the first year of high school, and he totally changed. And when he changed, all the things that he learned there, or the things that I think that he were projecting or saying to him, he brought it home, and he was always doing it to me. And at that time, I told myself that I will have a new way of thinking. And I said, this way of thinking, I called it more thinking like my brother. And,
Ah.
and that way, it was more like a negative way of thinking. So I had my way of thinking, and I would say, what is that? And totally opposite way of that. And then I would link that to my brother.
Hmm.
And after years, that just became me. And
Ah.
after a while, I became more my brother and my father. And when I was meditating about the way I was acting or doing stuff, I saw
Hmm.
my father or saw my brother and or other people. And then I told myself, do I still want to act like that? So, for example, I asked myself, why am I smoking? Who was smoking first? Then I said, it's from my brother. So I saw him, I imitated him, and
Imitating.
then I asked myself, am I doing it because I want to be my brother, or am I doing it for myself? And then I said, I'm
Hmm.
doing it for myself. That's why I'm still smoking.
Yep.
But some things, like for example, that I saw that I did like my father, and I said, do I still want to do or act like that? And I said no, and then I changed it.
Yes.
So you
Good.
choose how you want to be
That's right.
in
That's
yeah.
right. So I think it's so important that you answered that question and remembered, because what I hear you saying, and this really is the truth, that when you were just being you and honoring your own self, you felt
Mhm.
close to God. The moment you started to turn away from your own self, from hearing your own voice and adhering to that, and valuing somebody else's voice, right? And personality and everything over your own, that's where the drifting away, right, started coming in. And a lot of people um, don't realize the connection between disconnect from God and not loving themselves, their own selves. And the thing about it is because the kingdom of God, the Spirit of God is within us. So if you are not loving your own self, which is where the presence of God is, and you're looking for it outside or validation outside, or it's like you're turning away from the presence of God in order to seek it outside somewhere else, and in your own deciding that you are not worthy or good enough, you're actually not just turning away from yourself, you're turning away from Most High, because Most High sees you as worthy, good enough, worthy to be loved, right? To commune with and all of this, and you don't. So it's never that Most High turns away. It's that we turn away, right? Is that we turn away. And the moment you turned back, what did you find? Most High was right there. So Most High never left. Even when you were doing your drugs or the drugs, right? And even in situations where you think God wouldn't be there, God is always there because the Spirit of God lives within you, right? And God will never leave you or forsake you. That's why when you're in a time of trouble and you actually call out for that guidance, you will always get it. You will always get it. And that's exactly what we're talking about, how you can be in darkness and the love will find you. And that love for you was loving your nose, loving your nose. But the thing about it, we laugh, right? Loving your nose, but your body is the temple, right?
Mhm.
Your body is the temple. And it's really big. I could go into all the stuff about smell and the sense of smell and all of that, how important it is. But beyond that, the moment you had that time of clarity to feel who you were again, there was the voice reminding you of the things you wanted to do. And tell me again, what did the voice say to you? Do you
Oh,
remember? What did the voice say?
start with yourself.
No,
But
the first question, do you remember?
do you remember your dream?
Do you
Yeah.
remember your dream? Do you remember your dream? And how else would God know about your dream? Right? Exactly. That
Exactly.
means while you were dreaming, and then even so, is that dream separate from God? You have a dream to help the world. Is that your dream separate from God, or is that God's dream that is living out through your vessel?
I wrote a new poem, and in that poem,
Mm.
I wrote, I was copying Frank Sinatra with "I did it my way,"
Wait.
but then I
Yeah,
made it, "I did it the most high
nice.
way."
Wait. I love that. I love that. God is so much closer to us than we know. And the thing about it is because religion has done a great job in creating an image and a likeness of God that is very blasphemous because it is like, yes, you haven't created something physical to like a statue, but you've created something in your mind that is apart from you, right? That whether it's something out there, it's a false thing. And and because of that injustice that was done through teachings, we sometimes feel like we're alone. We sometimes feel like we don't have the power to rise above any situation and circumstance that comes our way. But love, when they say God is love, God is love. Love finds us. And you know what? I don't care if it's love for your nose. If love for your nose will help you to stop doing drugs and get clarity and turn your life around, then hallelujah. Hallelujah for the love of the nose. You understand? Because your nose is part of you, it's part of your vessel, and you need your nose. If a nose wasn't important, you wouldn't have one, right? So, Elder Son, I want to thank you so much for being open to share what you have, because a lot of people hide their darkness. A lot of people hide, um, you know, I even want to say it this way. A lot of people view the acts that they do as darkness. Like someone might be listening to this and say, okay, the darkness was him doing drugs. The darkness was whatever. No, the darkness was he thought he was far from God. That is actually the darkness. That is actually the darkness. The darkness was that he thought he was in his mess all alone, and that whatever he was doing, God wouldn't want to be around him, or had separated self, so that there was that division, between him. And that's the darkness. And you think of darkness like ignorance, a time of not understanding, not knowing. That was the most important thing to know and to not forget, and you did. So that's actually the darkness. Everything else can be healed, could be fixed. You could get new patterns, you could break addictions. But if you had gone through all of that and not had that experience where you heard that inner voice speaking to you again and reminding you, you would still be in deep darkness right now.
Mhm.
I think, I hope that the people watching understand what's being shared right now, right? I hope they really do. So tell me, so now you've been reminded. Most High has reminded you of who you are, the dreams you've had, and you said, "Yeah, I want to save the world." Where do you start? Start with the world. Nope, come in smaller, come in smaller, all the way to like start with yourself.
Mhm.
I just want you to save yourself. Help yourself first. I care about you, right? You help yourself, the whole entire dream will work out. It's a ripple effect. So now you
Also,
have, yes, go ahead.
nee, thank you that you said it, because also what he showed me in my head was literally a drop and then rippling out. And he said,
I
"You
literally saw the drop.
you will be like
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. Just
Mm,
emit your energy, but start with you."
yes, frequency. Yes,
Mhm.
the frequency. Exactly. That's it. It will just emanate. As soon as like when I was talking, I saw that drop. So good. Now tell us. So now you have a newfound sense of centering. You know who you are, you know what the dream is, you know where to start.
Mhm.
What happens after that?
All the projects that I started now and the books that I want to write,
Ah, I love it. I love it.
it that
Active,
became
active.
that became everything of that process. And my process is also why I then made the my meditation, and also um yeah, my meditation and my book is just really to help people again, just that.
Yeah. So what's the name of your book?
um I have different ones. My
Oh, you haven't decided yet on the name.
no, I have one that's almost finished because somebody's
Okay.
helping me with that, and that's balancing the brain hemispheres.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, nice, nice.
Um, yeah, that's the only one I can say that's almost finished. And the one that I
Okay.
always was mentioning is it becomes a life's work, I think.
Yeah, it's I have a book like that too. It's like every time I think it's gonna that's it, I'm gonna and then it's like something really crazy happens in life and I'm like, okay, that's why I didn't publish it. This has to go in there also. So it's like my life is writing the story, you know. So I just kind of I'm just chilling with it. When it's ready to get out there, it will. Yeah, and just be gentle with your process. So you said you mentioned the books, you mentioned projects.
um, yeah, projects. One is that I want to build ecodomes and farms in Africa
Okay.
and just show another way of living that we have uh, better alternative of living and stuff like that. That
Okay.
you don't have to have a house of 1 million or a quarter million to be happy. You can live in a house of $500 or euros, and
Mm-hmm.
it will be super happy. It's just how you design
Wow.
your interior.
Yes, you have
Everything.
shared with me your project in the past. I don't know if you want to go into detail about it here. You can if you want to. Or you could keep it till you do some more stuff on it and you could always come back on. I would love to have you back on and to
Okay.
just share, you know, because you're now sharing about your process and what you've been doing since. You could definitely come back on anytime and share more about that if you want to. Or you could share it now. I'm open to whatever. I'm just letting you know.
Um, I can share a little bit, but
Sure.
is there still a lot of time or?
Yeah, you're good. You're good for time.
Okay, okay, okay.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just uh, no. Also, I'm working with a farmer here in Belgium, where I put my goats. You saw the
Yeah.
goats,
Yeah.
Coco Vanilla or Coco
Yeah.
Van. Um, well, he said I can use his land for my retreats if I want to do my
Mhm.
retreats, and
Yeah.
I have two caravans there that we want to demolish and then rebuild as a tiny house on wheels.
Hmm.
And we're actually waiting for other materials, like other caravans and stuff like that, that we can put there. Because I want to have like 9, one for me and one for a person who's helping me, like an assistant,
Yep.
and then 7 for the 7 people that are joining the retreats.
Okay.
And I want to do everything in 7, just to keep it more spiritual. Yeah,
That's your number.
my number, yes. Ah, yeah, and this is a number 7 also. Love story number
I
7.
saw that, I saw that
Yes,
when I when I was putting it together, I said, "Oh, he got number 7 and he's gonna love that." Yeah,
nice.
yeah, I love 7. I love 7. It's a great number. All the numbers have something special about it.
I love
So,
8.
okay, so and 8, yes, yes. So you have your books, you have the project. Someone is saying in here, share your GoFundMe. You have a
Ah, yeah,
GoFundMe.
yes. It's one of my links. I can. How can I share it?
What you can do is put it put it in the chat here for me, and then I'll drop it in the chat. Um, yeah, put it in our Zoom chat, and then I'll drop it into the
Okay, I have to find it first.
yes, but while you find that, I'm just gonna give a little plug
Sorry.
for our little series that we have going here. The love story. If you're watching this and anything about El Jason or Jason, but we call him El Jason, if you um if you have been touched by something that he shared in his story or something that we spoke about here, if you feel that you have also experienced darkness, whether it's not knowing who you are, not knowing that you're connected to Most High, going through a period of devastation, loneliness, darkness in whichever way. Once you feel like you could not see your way out, once you feel like you could not see, the plan, the purpose, the path, it's darkness. And so, if you've experienced that, but have had light, love come in and rescue you out of that time, and even if you're still being rescued out of that, but you know that you're coming out, right? Because it's getting brighter and brighter each and every day. Please contact me, send me an email at lovestoryforyandea@gmail.com, and I will get in touch with you and we will schedule a time for you to come on here and share your story. Please do not think that your story is not as grand or not as, extravagant as other people's story. The worst thing that we could ever do is to minimize the love into something that's small. Love is big. Love is always big. Love is always wonderful, regardless of the package that it comes in. It is always wonderful and it is equal across the board. Sometimes someone might just do something like smile at a person. The person you smile at, they could have been gonna go maybe jump off a bridge. That person could be an amazing surgeon. That person could be someone who has, many different gifts and talents and things to offer the world, and just your smile kept them here, right? Someone else might do something or have something that's seemingly maybe like some people think having near-death experiences or spiritual experiences are like on the top of things that can happen to you, but some people have these experiences and nothing changes in their life. Some people have these experiences and go right back to darkness. So my point is, do not judge the love that has rescued you. Do not judge the love that has come into your life. Share it with us and it will grow. Okay. So that's my little plug. I hope to see you on here soon. I hope that you will share your story. El Jassan, I so enjoyed this time with you. Your willingness to chat so openly. It was really a blessing. And I'm sure everybody watching think so also. I'm gonna check the chat just to see if there's any comments, and I'm also gonna drop your GoFundMe in here. Okay,
Uh,
good. Okay, so I've put his GoFundMe link. And this GoFundMe link, what is this for exactly?
it's for the city that I want to build in Africa.
Okay, so this is the link to support the building of this city. And this is
Yes.
like an eco-friendly city, correct?
Eco, Bio Eco Resort Farm City.
Yes, yes. So check that out. I'm posting it in the chat right now, but I'm also going to put it in the description of this video. Do you have an email address? Do you have, like, if somebody wants to reach out to you, maybe to hear more about your project or to be able to get onto the list for when you're done your, when you're done your book, to be able to know that it's out or whatever, do you have some way that they could contact you? Are you open to people contacting you?
Yes, and I have um, I have another Instagram page that you can follow or send
Perfect.
something if you want to talk.
Perfect.
It's wait, I'll just take a screenshot. It's easier. I'll send it to you through
Yes.
Telegram.
Yep. Send it to me and I will also put that in the description section under this video. So if you're not getting the chat, just shortly after our live, you'll be able to access it um, in the description portion. Okay, let me just double check again. Any questions for El Jassan? Um, Dwayne has said, much love, El Jassan. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing so courageously.
Thank you.
And they're
Thank you
saying,
for being here.
yes, Patricia's saying, looking forward to your books. They're saying lots of gems being shared. Most High never turns away from us. That's Taslim. Wonderful, nice, beautiful comments. Okay, family. So do you have any questions for El Jassan before we close off? And El Jassan, while I wait to see, because there is a little bit of a lag, um, if you had just one message, like one last message, let's say if the whole world was gonna watch this live, right? What would you use this time to tell them? What would be your final message? What would you want them to know?
Um, Try to sit still and listen to yourself.
Mm,
Just that. And not listen to yourself, just listen inside of you. Because if I, when I was meditating on what I wanted to say today, I was thinking, and every time it was something that pulled me, something was speaking to me that made me do that. And if I didn't listen, I would never had learned it or be there.
yeah.
So just listen.
Listen, listen, listen. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Yes, I will take, Taslim says, I will take away that Most High always has us close. I love you. And Dwayne says, what is the one thing you would tell your younger self who's encountering the change? Oh, I can't.
Dwayne, Dwayne. Because
Yes.
the funny thing was,
Change or
back
loss of self. Oh, the loss of self. Sorry, this is the full question. Let me ask you again. Um, what is one thing you would tell your younger self who's encountering the change or loss of self? So when your younger self was going through that time of maybe transforming into your brother, your dad, losing yourself,
mhm.
what would you say? What is one thing you would say to your younger self at that point?
This is maybe such a cliche, but believe in the process. Because like
Mm,
like for example, the one with the coke in the nose and then with the corona sticks that I said, no, I don't want that. Really, I don't want that. That I was
mhm.
going paranoia for the sticks because I didn't vaccinate also. And I was
Okay.
even going paranoia for the sticks. So I said, no. And now in hindsight, if I look back, I'm so happy that all the things that maybe happened in my life made me who I am today. And in the process of finding myself,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be any happier. And I'm just happy that it wasn't when I was 70 where I was back reconnecting with myself. So I'm just happy for that. And what I actually wanted to say was when when I was talking with my girlfriend and she asked, "Why do you say that you want something funny, but you never say something funny?" When I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about when I was just sitting in my room all alone, I felt like I was like the storyteller and looking down on myself, and
Mm-hmm.
I got pity on myself. Well, not pity, but I felt super sad, and I started to cry on the phone. And I told her, "So I'm crying now." And she said, "Why are you crying?" So I'm thinking about myself, and when I was thinking about myself, I just told myself, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry
Oh.
for yeah for how it went." So
Mm. How
yeah.
recently was that?
Um. So between my 26 and 28,
Yeah,
in that time.
in that time. Okay. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. That's beautiful. A lot of us, there's a nice little mantra that we like. It's the Ho'oponopono mantra. I use it all the time. I use it with clients, I use it with myself. Um, it's I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. That's it. You say this to yourself, even when you encounter people who seem to rub you the wrong way. Realize that we are all mirrors, right? Even these guys who, you know, cheated you in that friendship, and different people you've come along the way you've met them, especially to yourself, brother. Simple, I love you. I'm sorry. Please
Yeah.
forgive
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
And then you say, most important, thank you. Receive it. Receive the forgiveness. It's so important that we forgive ourselves. It's so, in order for us to move forward, in order for us to be our best selves, in order for us to be able to help other people, we have to forgive ourselves.
Mhm.
See, if you don't forgive yourself, you'll be looking through a lens that will always, forever stop you from viewing people correctly. And when you're not viewing someone in the right way, you could never help them. Never.
Mhm.
Right? So forgiveness is so important towards yourself, towards others, but it starts with forgiving yourself, right? I love that
Yeah.
you did that. And
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, the funny thing was, I also said I forgive you, and I also forgive
Mm-hmm.
myself. And one of my meditation session is that I tell people, look in the mirror and say that you forgive yourself and that you love
Yes,
yourself and that you're a winner and you're chosen. You're
yes.
destined to be here. So
That's right. That's right. I
mhm.
love it. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Okay, so I don't see any more questions in our chat. This was such a wonderful time spending with you, and I mean we laughed a lot. I didn't know we were gonna laugh so much, you
It was
know?
it's good. It's healthy.
I didn't know we were gonna laugh so much, but it is good. Laughter is good for the soul. And
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna create a new phrase. Maybe I'll use it at my retreat coming up when I'll say to them, you gotta love, you gotta love your nose. You gotta love your nose. And I'll explain to them, I'll tell them your story. I'll
Okay.
tell them your story and they'll understand it, you know, if you can't love you, love your nose, whatever it
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
I'll remember that, brother. I'll remember that.
Yeah, but
So,
that's also what I tell people when if you really love yourself, it doesn't matter how much you will invest in yourself. If you truly love yourself, you will invest millions. And I say, oh, no,
yeah,
this is too much. Really, but for I say make yourself healthier or reconnecting with yourself, it's too much.
No, it's what matters.
Yeah.
What matters. Something that just came to me is this analogy, and it's used many times. It's like, you may be a parent. Think of a parent on a plane, and the plane is gonna go down, right? And the air, these things, the oxygen masks fall down. You have your children beside you. Obviously, you're thinking, I want to save my children. But
Mhm.
everybody knows you have to put that mask on first. You have to give yourself oxygen first so that you can be awake and not passed out. Because you can't help anybody when you're passed out. You can't help anybody when you're not aware and when you're not connected and in your right mind. So we all have this big heart. We want to help people, but just pause. They're there. The best thing you could do for them is to put on your oxygen mask. The best thing you could do for anybody around you is to make sure that you are grounded, that you are centered, and that you're in the right mind and connected to your true self, right? And then you go from there. So, family, thank you so much, El Jassan. Thank you again for spending this time with us and for sharing your story. Again, if you want to share your message with whoever, Spirit will lead to watch this channel, you can do so by emailing me at lovestoryforyandea@gmail.com. And we'll be here 7:30 Eastern Standard Time every Sunday, as long as we have breath, as long as we can. El Jasan, thank you again. And thank you to everyone who's here commenting and watching. We love you, wish you the best. Don't forget who you are. And if you don't know, it's worth it to take the time to figure it out. Okay? Love you. Good night.
Much love, everybody. Just listen.
Just
Ciao.
listen.